Okay, so we're gonna start off in a comfortable seat, whatever that means to you. You can be sitting up on a block, you can sit down on the mat, you can lay down on your back, or sit up on your shins, whatever you prefer. And we're just gonna try to relax, lower your gaze, close your eyes. Just give yourself a few seconds to check in with your body. You can start to pay attention to your breath. No need to change or judge it, just pay attention. See if you can lift the top of your head nice and tall, creating space in the back of your neck, creating space all through your spine. Press your sit bones equally into the ground. You can relax your knees down. And today we'll do a little bit of a guided meditation, just by starting off feeling the tips of your toes and imagining a nice relaxing, either a wave of water, maybe oozing down, or maybe just imagining yourself letting go, whatever you're most comfortable with. But just start with the tip of your toes and let that relaxation move up to the balls of your feet, to your heels, the tops of your feet and your ankles. Let it move over your shins and your calves, up past your knees, the back of the knees, the thighs, the quads. Moving up to your hips, letting go through your tailbone, your sit bones, your internal organs, relaxing down. Imagine the sides of your body, the intercostal muscles and the low back, all getting enveloped with relaxation. Moving up to your chest, your shoulder blades on your back, out to your shoulders, the tops of the arms, backs of the arms, your elbows, to your forearms, wrists, and hands, washing over your fingers, releasing out the tops of the tips of the fingers. You can move your focus back to your chest and shoulder blades, moving up your neck, over your jaw and the back of the head, up your nasal passages, around to your ears and eyes, relaxing the whole head and the whole body. Just melting in to this relaxation. If from here there's a part of your body you can feel that maybe doesn't want to let go or is maybe a little sore, a little uncomfortable, see if you can focus your breath to that point. See if you can take one deep cleansing breath in through the nostrils and then out through the mouth. One more like that, in through the nostrils and then out through the mouth. When you're ready, you can raise your gaze or open your eyes. Give yourself a nice little rock back and forth, maybe forwards and back. Open up those hips a little bit. If you want to do a big circle in your hips, going all the way forward and all the way back, maybe the other direction too. And when you're ready to settle back into a comfortable seat, you can. We're going to do something a little different today. We are going to, the difference between maybe the class that I teach and the class that I take is not that different. They're basically all the same moves, but it depends on how often we do them. So usually in a beginner class or one of my classes or like a more, I don't know what word to use, doesn't matter. We'll use one pose and hold it for like maybe a count of 20 in my head, maybe a count of 5 in my head, depending. And then if we were to do maybe a more active yoga class, we would go through that sequence a lot faster, maybe 1 breath per movement. So we're going to try that today. We're going to start with our normal warm up, but we'll see if you like it or not. And as always, vinyasas are optional, and I'm just here as a guide. You don't have to follow everything I do. And if you're feeling tired, come into a child's pose or a downward facing dog. So starting in a comfortable seat, rooting those sit bones down into the ground, lifting up on the crown of your head. We'll inhale the arms up into the air. See if you can exhale those shoulder blades down the back. Inhale, pop in those ribs if you stuck them out. Reach out with your fingertips in all directions. Exhale here. Inhale a nice deep breath. And then we'll exhale, lean to the right, placing your right hand onto the mat, reaching the left hand over top. Breathing here, making sure the sit bones are equally weighted into the ground, opening up in those intercostal muscles. You can shine the chest towards the ceiling. Option here to go into a half bind, rotating that arm back, placing the palm towards the back of the room. You can put your hand, help it if you need to, into that hip crease where your hip meets your leg. Breathing here. Checking in with those sit bones, make sure you're not popping up in that left side. Release your hand wherever it is. Reach towards the sky again. We'll inhale back to center. Exhale down to the other side, placing that hand on the mat, reaching over top with that right arm. Option to rotate that hand back, place the palm towards the back of the room, and sticking that hand in between the hip crease for the half bind. Making sure your hand is in line with your hips and your shoulder. Make sure you're not reaching too far back or too far forward. Checking with those sit bones, making sure they're nice and even. If you find yourself unable to know what to do with your neck or head, just check in with your spine. See if you can make a nice long line with your spine. Release your hand wherever you are. Bring it back up to the sky. We'll inhale both arms into the air. And then gently exhale, folding forward. No need to round in the back. Make sure you have that nice long spine again. Pull up on that crown of the head. And then on your next exhale, you can release down, fold forward all the way around in the back, release in the back. And then on your next inhale, we'll just roll up to stand. Sit, sit, roll up to sit. Inhale your arms nice and long to a big T. Exhale, cross your arms, doesn't matter which one in front. Give yourself a nice big hug. You can walk your fingers. Sorry, mommy. You can walk your fingers around your shoulder blades. If you are able, breathing here. See if you can relax your shoulder blades down the back. And your next inhale, make a nice big T with your arms again. And exhale, cross the opposite arm over top. Give yourself a nice big hug. Walk your fingertips back around your shoulder blades if it's open to you. Melt those shoulders down. I have a teacher who asks if you can smile during a pose. So every once in a while, if you can see me smile all of a sudden, can you smile if you're in pain? On your next exhale, reach our arms nice and big again. This time, bend those elbows, make some cartoon cactus arms. You can play with the placement of your elbows and wrists. See if you can get them in line with your shoulders. Maybe go a little back a little further if you'd like a nice little extra stretch. But come back to even when you're able. We'll inhale the shoulder blades up again, and then exhale, relax them down the back. See if you can inhale the shoulder blades together, like you're trying to hold a pencil in between your shoulder blades. And then exhale, release them down. Breathe here for a minute. When you're ready, relax your arms down, and we'll kick the legs out in front. Give your knees a little shake to get ready. Flex your feet up nice and tall. Check in with your spine. Make sure you can also get nice and tall with the back of your body. Breathe here for a moment. When you're ready, just kind of flex your feet and point your toes. Wake up those ankles. And when you're ready, you can come back to stillness. Flex both those feet. We'll bend this right knee. Place the foot on the outside of the left knee. From here, hug that thigh in nice and tight up against your chest. If you're happy here, you can stay. If not, we'll come into a twist. Go ahead and take that left elbow, hook it around the right arm, and twist to the back of the room. Inhaling, nice long spine. Exhaling, twisting to the back. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, twist. Inhaling a nice, long, tall spine. Exhaling, twisting to the back of the room. Then on your next inhale, you can come back, either hug your thigh into your chest or come into a nice little counter twist. When you're ready, we'll release that leg down. Bend the left leg, place the left foot on the outside of the right leg. You can hug that thigh into the chest nice and tight. Make sure you got a nice long spine here. If you're happy here, you can stay. If not, we'll hook that right elbow over that left knee and twist the body to the back of the room. Inhale, nice long spine. Exhale, twist a little bit further to the back. Maybe a micromillimeter each time. Inhale, long spine. Exhaling, twisting. Inhaling for a nice long spine. Exhaling, twisting to the back. Next inhale, you can hug that chest, the fat thigh into the chest, or take a nice little counter twist to the side. Release your leg down, give your knees a little shake out, and we'll come to a tabletop pose at the center of the mat. Knees underneath hips, hands underneath shoulders. Nice neutral spine here. We'll start by lifting the left arm into the air. Check in with your hips. Are they still even? Can you twist from your midsection, reach your arms in either direction and not try to move that motion anywhere else? Transfer that motion. Exhale, thread that needle under, place the outside of the shoulder down onto the mat. Walk the fingertips forward on the opposite hand if you need to. Check in with the tops of the feet. They may have migrated upwards. Walk the fingertips back, place the hand back on the mat, reach your arm into the air again. Exhaling, placing the hand back down to the mat. Lift the right arm in the air this time, checking in with the hips, seeing if they're equal. Twisting from the midsection, reaching that arm into the sky. Exhaling, threading that needle under, placing that outside of the shoulder onto the mat. You can walk your fingertips up on the opposite hand if you'd like. Checking in with the tops of the feet. Exhaling, bringing that hand back to the face, pressing into the mat, reaching the arm in the opposite direction. Exhaling down, coming back into a tabletop pose. Cat-cows. Dropping your udder down, shining that chest forward, inhaling for cow pose. Exhaling, rounding in the back, pulling that belly button towards the spine. Option to tuck the toes under here for cat. Inhaling cow pose, tops of the feet down on the mat. Shine that chest forward. Exhale for cat, rounding in the back, releasing the neck down. Option to tuck the toes under. Inhale, cow, tops of the feet down, shining the chest forward. Exhale, cat, neck is loose, back is rounded, belly button pulling towards the spine. Inhaling for cow, and exhaling for cat. You can continue to do this motion at your own pace, using your own breath as a guide. If you'd like to introduce more motions like S and C curves in your spine, you can. You can come down to a big child's pose. Come up to a baby chaturanga. Whatever you'd like to do, just kind of warm up the spine. Get yourself ready to move. When you're ready, we'll come back into a nice neutral spine. Take the left arm, stretch it out in front of you, reaching those fingertips towards the front of the room. Lift your right leg back behind you, reaching that heel back to the back of the room, flexing that foot. If there were a wall behind you, you could kick off the back wall. Breathing here. Inhaling. And on your next exhale, we'll bring the elbow to the knee at the midpoint of the body. Inhale, nice and long. Exhale, fold elbow to knee. Inhale, nice and long. Exhaling, folding, elbow to knee. Inhale long. And then exhale, place your hand and knee back down to the mat. Reaching that right arm out in front. Reaching your fingertips towards the front of the room. Exhale, release your leg back behind you. Flexing the foot. Stepping off that back wall if you can. Breathing here. On your next exhale, we'll fold the body, bring the elbow towards the knee at the midpoint. Inhale, nice and long. Exhaling, folding in the center, elbow to knee. Inhaling, nice and long. One more, exhaling, elbow to knee. Inhale, nice and long. And then exhale, place your hand and foot back down, leg back down onto the mat. Nice neutral spine, breathing here. From here, we'll tuck the toes under and press yourself back into downward facing dog. You can pedal out the feet in down dog if you'd like. You can make that motion move into your knees, into your hips. Maybe you found a spot. It's a nice little stuck spot. You want to stretch into a little bit more, you can. When you're ready to find stillness, we'll inhale into the air, lifting those heels into the sky. And then exhale, bring the heels down to the ground, reaching for the mat. Not touching, just reaching. Take 3 big breaths in downward facing dog. On your next inhale, we'll lift the right leg into the air, 3-legged dog. Exhale, bend that knee, bring that heel towards the bum. Check in with your left leg, make sure your heel is reaching towards the mat. Inhale, your hips open here, nice big wide, knee pointed towards the sky. Just breathe here. You can start by making little circles in your ankle if you'd like. Or just remain in stillness. We'll exhale the right leg back down to the mat. Breathing in down dog. Inhaling that left leg into the air, 3-legged dog. Bending that knee, bring that heel towards the bum. And then inhaling to open up the thighs and reach that knee towards the sky. Breathe here. On your next exhale, you can lower your leg back down to downward facing dog. We'll roll forward to plank on the next inhale. Exhale, back to downward facing dog. On your next inhale, we'll roll forward to plank again. Breathing in plank pose. And then exhale, pressing back to downward facing dog. From here, we'll lift that right leg into the air, 3-legged dog. Exhale, bend the knee. This time, keep the hips closed. Exhale, we'll roll forward to plank, bringing that knee to the elbow. Inhaling, 3-legged dog, nice long leg. Exhale, bending that knee and bringing that knee to the elbow. Inhaling, 3-legged dog. Exhale, rolling forward to plank one more time, knee to elbow. Inhale, 3-legged dog. Exhale, placing the leg back down to the mat. Inhaling the left leg into the air, three-legged dog. Exhale, bend that knee, bring the heel towards the bum, leave the hips nice and square. Breathe here. Inhaling, rolling forward to plank, bringing that knee towards the elbow. Exhaling back, three-legged dog. Inhale, bend that knee, bring it forward to plank. Exhale, three-legged dog. One more time like that. Inhaling, rolling forward to plank, bringing that knee to the elbow. And exhaling back for three-legged dog. Place your foot back onto the mat. And you can step, or hop forward. So you're in a forward fold at the front of the mat. Breathing here in your forward fold. Your knees can be bent as much or as little as you like here. Imagine that string from the top of your head is pulling you down towards the ground now. You can gently rock back and forth if you'd like. Grab opposite elbows. Swaying to and fro, releasing any tension in the back of your thighs or your hips. You can place your hands on your shins and inhale to a nice long flat back. Exhaling, rolling forward to your forward fold again. This time, see if you can have your knees a little bit straighter than before. Maybe 1% straighter. Maybe with each exhale, you fold a little further down, micromillimeters at a time. Make sure you're not holding any tension in your neck here. And when you're ready, slowly roll up to stand, placing vertebrae on top of vertebrae until you're standing in mountain pose at the front of the mat. I'm gonna need a drink of water. All right, we're gonna do a few vinyasas. I'm gonna go through again because we are going to do several of them in a row. So there are 4 ways to do them. You can, of course, stay in downward facing dog the whole time. Perfectly acceptable. The way I'm going to do them is by just replacing cat-cows with vinyasas. Instead of coming into a plank, I'll come into a tabletop. Instead of going down to the knees, chest, chin, and coming into a low cobra, I'll just come into a cow pose. You can always do from downward facing dog, the way we normally do, rolling into a plank, lowering knees, chest and chin to the mat, and inhaling up for a low cobra. And the 4th way to do it is to go into a Chaturanga Dandasana. From downward facing dog, rolling forward to plank, dropping down, rolling over the tops of the feet, and coming into a high cobra. Any of those 4 alternatives are acceptable for today. So we're going to do a little bit of the Ashtanga primary series, excuse me. Starting in mountain pose at the front of your mat. Nice strong stance. Remember, mountains don't just stand there. Feet are hips width distance apart. Start by inhaling your arms into the air. Exhaling, folding forward. Inhale, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhale, plant your hands, step back with the right foot, then the left, downward facing dog. Rolling forward to plank, lowering your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhaling up for a low cobra, and pressing back to downward facing dog. Step to the front of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhale, folding forward, planting your hands down, stepping back with your left and your right foot, downward facing dog. Inhaling forward to plank pose. Lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhale for a low cobra. And exhale, pressing back to downward facing dog. 3 breaths in down dog. When you're ready, you can step forward to the front of your mat, forward fold. Inhale, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhaling, folding forward and rolling up to stand on your inhale. All right. Standing in mountain pose at the front of your mat. Inhale the arms into the air. Exhaling, folding forward. Inhale, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhale, plant your hands, step back with your right, then left foot, downward facing dog. Rolling forward to plank, dropping your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhaling for a low cobra and exhaling, pressing back to downward facing dog. Inhaling here and down dog. Exhaling. Stepping forward with your left foot, then your right, forward fold at the front of your mat. Hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhaling, folding forward. Plant your hands, step back with the left foot, then the right, downward facing dog. Rolling forward to plank, lowering your knees, chest and chin to the ground. Inhaling for a low cobra and exhaling, pressing back to downward facing dog. 3 breaths in down dog. When you're ready, you can hop or step to the front of the mat, forward fold. Placing your hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhaling, folding forward. And inhaling, rolling up to stand. One more round of Surya Namaskar A. Inhaling your arms to the sky. Exhaling, folding forward. Inhaling, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhaling, folding forward, planting your hands, step back with the right, then left foot, downward facing dog. Inhaling, rolling forward to plank, lowering your knees, chest and chin to the mat for a low, inhaling for a low cobra, and exhaling, pressing back to downward facing dog. Step forward. So you're in a forward fold at the front of the mat. Hands on shins, inhaling for nice long flat back. Exhaling, folding forward, planting the hands, step back with the left foot, then the right, downward facing dog. Rolling forward to plank, lowering knees, chest and chin to the mat, low cobra. Inhaling for a low cobra. Exhale, press back, downward facing dog. 3 breaths in down dog. When you're ready, you can hop or step to the mat, front of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhale, folding forward. And inhaling, rolling up to stand. Mountain pose at the front of the mat. All right, those were sun salutation A. Now we'll do sun salutation B.
Standing in mountain pose at the front of the mat. Imagine 2 blocks on either side, or I'm sorry, on the outsides of your feet, and you're pressing against them. Foot is still glued to the mat, but you can press out on either side. Inhale your arms up into the air. This time we'll bend the knees as we come down into chair pose. See if you can get that cow spine in the top of your back and that cat spine in your lower back. Breathing here in Utkatasana, chair pose. Exhale, folding forward, releasing your knees. Inhale, hands on shins, nice long, flat back. Exhale, plant your hands, step back to plank pose. And lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. And inhale for a low cobra. Exhale, pressing back to downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the right leg into the air, 3-legged dog. Exhale, bring that right leg forward. Help it if you need to, in between your hands. And we'll inhale our arms up for a high lunge. You can plant that back foot if you'd like for warrior 1. Breathing here, front knee is bent at a 90-degree angle. Exhale, come back, plant your hands at either side of your feet, kick that foot back behind you, downward facing dog. Inhaling, rolling forward to a plank pose. Exhale, lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhale, low cobra. And exhale, press back to downward facing dog. This time we'll lift the left leg into the air, 3-legged dog. Exhale, bring that foot in between your hands. And rotate the back foot down if you'd like, and inhale your arms up for warrior 1 or high lunge, whatever you're more comfortable with. Exhale your hands down to plant that front foot, kick that front foot back to meet the back, downward facing dog. Roll forward to plank pose. Drop your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhale for a low cobra. Exhale, press back into downward facing dog. 3 breaths in down dog. When you're ready, you can hop for step to the front of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, hands on shins, nice long, flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, roll up to stand. Mountain pose. Whew. All right. Let's try that again, shall we? Beautiful. All right, standing in mountain pose at the front of the mat. We'll inhale the arms into the air. On the exhale, we'll bend the knees, lower that bum down, and come into a chair pose, Utkatasana. Exhale, fold forward. Release your knees as much as you can. Inhale, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhale, fold forward, plant the hands. You can hop or step back to downward facing dog. Inhaling, rolling forward to plank, lowering your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhaling for a low cobra. Exhaling, pressing back to downward facing dog. Inhaling the right leg into the air, 3-legged dog. Exhale, bend that knee, bring that foot in between the hands, help it if you need to. And rotate that back foot down and inhale your arms up for warrior 1. Make sure your front knee is bent. Exhale, frame that front foot and kick that back to meet the back, downward facing dog. This time we'll lift that left leg into the air, 3-legged dog. Exhale, bend your knee, Bring your foot in between your hands, help it if you need to. We'll rotate that back foot down. And then inhale up to warrior one. Breathing in warrior one. Exhaling, bringing those hands down to the mat, frame that front foot, kick that front foot back to meet the back foot, downward facing dog. Inhaling, rolling forward to plank pose. Exhaling, lowering your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhaling for a low cobra. And exhaling, pressing back to downward facing dog. 3 breaths in down dog. When you're ready, you can hop or step forward to the front of the mat. So you're in a forward fold. On your next inhale, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhale, fold forward. And inhaling, rolling up to stand. All right, beautiful, beautiful. Standing in mountain pose at the front of your mat. Legs are hips width distance apart, pressing out on the outer edges of the feet. Inhale the arms into the air. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhale, fold forward, plant your hands, with the right leg back behind you, low lunge. Make sure you position yourself so you're in a nice, sturdy, low lunge. You can rotate that back foot down if you'd like. And we'll inhale the arms up to warrior one again. Exhale, release your hands back behind you. Interlace your hands behind your back. Shine that chest towards the ceiling. We'll exhale, bring that shoulder down to the knee. Inhale, right back up. Release your arms into the air. Exhaling, folding forward, plant that front knee. We'll bring that back foot back. And we'll kick it in, let's say about 12 inches or so, maybe 18, so that both the heels are on the mat. See if you can adjust your hips so that your front hip is pulling back in space. Nice little runner stretch here, pulling that forehead towards the shin. We'll kick that back foot back again, lower that back knee down, release the tops of the feet to the mat. Inhale your arms up for Anjaneyasana. Exhale your arms back down to frame that front foot, kick that back foot back up into the air. So you're in a nice strong low lunge. We'll kick that front foot back to meet the back, downward facing dog. Inhaling, rolling forward to plank. Exhale, lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhale for a low cobra or cow pose. And then exhale, press back into downward facing dog. Breathing in down dog. Time we'll lift the right leg into the air, three-legged dog. Exhale, bring that foot in between your hands. So you're in a low lunge on the opposite side. We'll rotate that back heel down. Inhale your arms into the air again for warrior one. Exhale your hands back behind your back and release your hands behind you. Inhale, shine your chest towards the ceiling. And exhale, we'll bring that shoulder down to the knee. Inhale, back up, release your arms into the sky. Exhale, frame that front foot. Rotate that back heel up again. We'll kick that back leg back up, about 12 to 18 inches. Reach your forehead towards your shin for a runner's pose. You can kick that back leg back where it was. We'll take the back knee down to the mat, release the top of the feet into the mat. Inhale the arms up for Anjaneyasana. And exhale your hands back down to the mat. We'll tuck those back toes under again. Kick this front leg back to meet the back leg, downward facing dog. On your next inhale, we'll roll forward to plank. Exhale, lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhale for a low cobra. And exhale, press back to downward facing dog. This time, bring the left leg into the earth, three-legged dog. Exhale, bring that foot in between your hands. Bring that back leg up to meet the front, forward fold at the front of the mat. Inhale, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhaling, folding forward. Inhaling, rolling up to stand. Mountain pose at the front of the mat. Whew, I need a drink of water. All right, standing in mountain pose at the front of the mat, we'll inhale the arms into the sky. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhale, fold forward, plant your hands, kick your right leg, then left leg back behind you. Downward facing dog. Lift that left leg into the air, three-legged dog. Exhale, bring that foot in between your hands. You're in a nice low lunge with your left foot in front. We'll rotate that back heel down. Then we'll windmill the arms up to warrior two. Breathe one big breath in warrior two. Then we'll flip that palm to the sky, reach forward and then back to reverse your warrior. Breathe one full breath, reverse your warrior. Then we'll come back into warrior two arms. Straighten that front knee. Reach forward as much as you can and then down for triangle pose. One full breath here. Inhale your arms back up to warrior two arms. Rotate that back arm into the front and exhale down for twisted triangle. Breathe one full breath here. Then we'll lift the arms back into the air, twist your body back around, we'll bend that front knee again. This time we'll take the forearm to the thigh for side angle pose, reaching that opposite arm over top. Exhaling, rotating those arms down so you're framing your front foot, back heel pops up. We'll take this front foot back to meet the back, downward facing dog. Inhaling, rolling forward to plank. Exhaling, lowering your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhaling for a low cobra. And then exhaling, pressing back to downward facing dog. Inhale the right leg into the air, three-legged dog. Exhale, bring that right leg in between the hands for a low lunge on the opposite side. Rotate that back leg down and we'll windmill the arms up for warrior two. Breathe one big breath in warrior two. Then we'll flip the palm into the air, reach forward and then back for humble warrior. We'll straighten up that front knee, come back into warrior two arms, lean forward as far as you can, and then down for triangle pose. Breathe here, exhale. Inhale back up to warrior two arms, we'll rotate that back arm to the front, and then come down for twisted triangle. Inhaling the arms back up, come back into warrior two arms. Bring that front knee again, we'll bring the forearm to the thigh and reach that opposite arm over top. From here, we'll windmill those arms back down to the mat, kick that front leg back to meet the back, downward facing dog. Rolling forward to plank. Lowering your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhaling for a low cobra. And then exhaling, pressing back to downward facing dog. You can hop, or step, or hop to the front of the mat. And come to a forward fold at the front of the mat. Inhaling, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhaling, folding forward. Inhaling, rolling up to stand. All right. If I catch my breath, we can do that a little faster. All right. Inhaling, arms up into the air. Exhaling, folding forward. Inhale, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhale, fold forward, plant the hands. Kick the right leg back behind you. Rotate that heel down. Windmill the arms up for warrior two. Spread that front palm into the air. Reach forward and then back to reverse your warrior. From here, straighten that front leg. We'll reach forward again and then down for triangle pose. Inhale back up, bring that front arm back, and exhale down for twisted triangle. Inhale back up. Warrior two, arms, bend that front knee, bring the forearm to the thigh, reach that opposite arm overhead for side angle pose. Rotate your arms down to frame the front foot on the mat. Keep that front foot back to the back, downward facing dog. Inhale, roll forward to plank. Exhale, lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhale up for a low cobra. Exhale, press back into downward facing dog. Inhale that right leg into the air, three-legged dog. Exhale, bring that foot in between your hands. Help it if you need to. We'll rotate that back foot down. Then windmill the arms up into warrior two. Bring that front palm into the sky, reach forward, and then back to reverse your warrior. Straighten up that knee. Warrior two, arms come down for triangle pose. Inhale back up. Exhale, bring that back arm down for twisted triangle. Inhaling back up to warrior two, arms, bend that front knee, bring the forearm to the thigh, reach the opposite arm over top, side angle pose. Exhale your hands back to the mat. Kick that front leg back to meet the back, downward facing dog. Rolling forward to plank. Exhale, lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhale up for a low cobra. Exhale, pressing back to downward facing dog. 3 breaths in down dog or child's pose. And when you're ready, you can step, or hop to the front of the mat. So you're in a forward fold. Inhale, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhale, fold forward. And inhaling, rolling up to stand. All right. We'll go through the sequence one more time. See if I can go one breath, one movement. Standing in mountain pose, we'll inhale the arms into the air. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhale, fold forward, plant your hands, kick your right leg back behind you, bring that heel to the ground. Windmill the arms up on your inhale, warrior two. Exhaling here. Inhale, hand towards sky. Reach forward and then back to reverse your warrior. Straighten out that knee, come into warrior two, arms. Reach forward and then down for triangle pose. Inhaling back to warrior two, arms. We'll exhale, bring that back arm down to the leg for twisted triangle. Inhaling back up, we'll bend that front knee again. Coming into side angle pose, reaching your opposite arm over top. Rotate those hands down to the mat. Keep that front leg back to the back. Downward facing dog. Inhale that right leg into the air, three-legged dog. Exhale, bring that foot in between the hands. Help it if you need. Rotate that back heel down. And we'll come into warrior two. Inhale your palm to the sky, reach forward and then back. Reverse your warrior. Exhaling here. Inhaling back to warrior two, arms straighten that leg, reach forward, and then down for triangle pose. Exhaling here. We'll inhale back up, rotate that back arm to the front and come down for twisted triangle. Inhaling back up. Exhale, bend that front knee, bring the forearm to the thigh, and we'll reach over top for side angle pose. Exhaling, bringing the hands to the mat, kicking this front foot back to meet the back, downward facing dog. Breathing in down dog. We'll inhale, roll forward to plank. Exhale, lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhaling for a low cobra. Exhale, pressing back to downward facing dog. Breathing 3 breaths in down dog. Or child's pose. You can lift your left leg in the air, three-legged dog. Exhale, bring your foot in between your hands. Inhale here, exhale that back foot back to meet the front. Forward fold at the front of the mat. Inhaling, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhaling, folding forward. And inhaling, rolling up to stand. Okay, standing in mountain pose at the front of the mat. We'll inhale the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhale, plant your hands, keep that right leg back behind you, three-legged dog. From here, we're gonna kick that back foot up again. So we're kind of coming into a runner stretch. I want you to get this front knee nice and straight, whatever that you need to do for that. Grab some blocks if you need to. But we're gonna kick that back foot up and come into warrior three. However you're most comfortable doing that. You can come back from a low lunge, kick all the way up with your back foot, or you can come just from a forward fold and kicking that back foot back. Excuse me. Back foot is flexed, standing leg is supporting you. Hips are square. If I stick a block on my back, it will not fall off. Hands can be at heart center, reaching out in front of you, or on blocks for the mat. Whatever you prefer. Breathing here, paying attention to the inner arch of your standing foot. Make sure you're not falling into that arch. You want to pretend like your foot is gripping the ground. Nice right angle in the thighs. Option to open up the thighs here and come into a half moon pose, rotating that foot on a 90-degree angle. When you're ready, you can swing that foot back to meet your standing foot and come into a forward fold at the front of the mat. Inhaling the hands on your shins, nice long flat back. Exhaling, folding forward, and inhaling, rolling up to stand. Standing in mountain pose at the front of the mat. Inhale the arms into the sky. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Plant the hands. So we'll kick the left leg back behind you. Just about as far as if we were to do a runner stretch or wherever you're most comfortable. Reaching that forehead towards the shin. We're gonna kick up on that back leg. Reaching that back foot back behind you, flexing in the foot. Making sure you're not falling into that inner arch in your standing leg. Hips are squared here. Nice, powerful back leg at a 90-degree angle. Hands can be at heart center if you're working on balance. Reach out in front of you like Superman or on block through the mat in front of you. Breathe here. Option to open up the hips here, rotating the foot at a 90-degree angle and coming to half moon pose. Modified half moon, I guess. Foot is still flexed. Make sure you're not falling into the inner arches of your foot. And when you're ready, you can swing that back foot down to meet the front. Feet hips width distance apart, and give your hips a little shake out if that's comfortable for you. And come back into your forward fold. Inhaling your hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhaling forward fold. And then inhaling, rolling up to stand. Standing in mountain pose at the front of your mat. Feet are hips width distance apart. We'll inhale the arms into the air. Exhaling, folding forward. Inhale, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhale, fold forward, plant the hands. You can step, or hop to the back so you're in a downward facing dog. Give your hips a little shake out here. We'll inhale the right leg into the air, three-legged dog. Exhale, bring that heel towards the bump. Inhale, open the hips up. Nice and big. Breathing here. Then we'll exhale, swing that shin forward and come into a pigeon pose. Make sure that back leg is nice and straight behind you. Give yourself any support you may need underneath your hips or your belly. Shine that chest towards the ceiling and then roll down for pigeon pose. Make sure both your front foot is flexed here to protect your knee and ankle. Your next inhale, you can lift your chest into the air. Position yourself so you can come into a tabletop pose and just push your bum down to your feet for a nice little child's pose. Your knees can be together or apart here. You can give your hip a little, your bum a little shake out if you'd like. We'll inhale back to tabletop pose. Tuck your back toes under, come back into a downward facing dog. Then we'll lift that left leg into the air, three-legged dog. Exhale, bring that foot towards the bum, bend the knee. Inhale, open up the hips. Check in with that back heel that's standing on the mat. Make sure you can still pull that heel down towards the ground. And then we'll exhale, swing that shin forward. Make sure your back leg is nice and straight behind you. Your knee is bent and your foot is flexed to protect that knee. Give yourself any support you may need. Lift that chest into the air and then roll down to pigeon pose. And when you're ready, go ahead and shine that chest towards the sky again. Remove any support or props you may have. Maneuver yourself into a tabletop pose and just press back into a child's pose. Wiggle those hips out. Inhale back up to your tabletop pose. Tuck your back toes under, come into a downward facing dog. Last chance for vinyasa. If you'd like to take it, roll forward to a plank. Lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhale for a low cobra. And then exhale, press back for a downward facing dog. On your next inhale, we'll roll forward to a plank and gently lower yourself down so you're laying on your belly on the mat. From here, place your forehead down onto the ground. Reach your hands back behind you. You can interlace your hands back behind your back if you'd like. Zip those legs up from thigh to ankle and to your toes. Make them nice and glued together. On your next inhale, you can lift your head, neck, and chest off the mat, reaching those hands back behind you. Exhaling here. And then inhale the legs off the mat as well. Breathing here, reaching hands and legs back behind you. And on your next exhale, you can release your legs, release your arms, give your hips a little shake out. And we'll roll onto our backs. You can hug your knees into your chest here. Give yourself a big hug. You can rock back and forth. You can roll forward and backward. You can teeter-totter. You can grab your knees and make big circles, giving yourself a little low back massage. When you're ready, we'll drop the legs back down to the mat. Bring your feet about the distance of the mat apart. Knock your knees in. And then we'll just gently windshield wiper the legs back and forth. When you're ready, you can come to stillness. Place your bottoms of your feet on the mat. Make sure your heels are just far enough away. You can just about graze them with your fingertips. If you have a block, you can place it in between your knees. Press into the ground with the bottom of the feet. Lift the hips into the air. You can wiggle your shoulders underneath you if you'd like. And press your hips up for bridge pose. Make sure you're not crinking in your neck here. You have a nice long spine. You can release your hands, release your shoulders, roll your spine back down onto the mat. Give your hips a little shake out. And we'll inhale back into the air, again, lifting your hips into the sky. You can wiggle those shoulders behind you, interlace your fingers. Weird thumb on top this time. Breathe here, pressing into the ground with the bottoms of the feet. Release your hands, release your shoulders, roll that spine back down to the mat. We'll do one more like that. Inhaling the hips into the air, interlacing the hands back behind you, wiggling those shoulders behind your back. Breathing here. You can release your hands, release your shoulders, roll that spine back down the back, windshield wiper those knees back and forth. And hug your knees into your chest. Nice and tight. And when you're ready, drop them onto one side for your final twist. Both shoulders should be on the mat. One hip is down. Hands can be wherever you're comfortable. If you'd like a slightly deeper twist, you can always gaze to the opposite shoulder where your knees are. Otherwise, just relax. On your next inhale, you can bring your knees back to center. Hug them into your chest. Give yourself a little rock back and forth. And exhale them down to the other side. Again, gaze can be straight ahead or over your opposite shoulder. Both shoulders are on the mat. One hip is down. Arms can be wherever you're comfortable. Your next inhale, you can bring both knees into your chest, give yourself a nice little hug, rock back and forth. Place your feet on the mat, about mat's width distance, and then give yourself a nice little windshield wiper back and forth. When you're ready, bring your legs together, bring the soles of your feet together so that the outer edges of your feet are against the mat. And your knees are kind of out to either side. If you have blocks, you can place them under your knees for support. Otherwise, you can just grab your thighs and relax your legs open as much as is comfortable, supporting your legs any way you can. Make sure you have some support. If it's not your hands and it's blocks, if it's not blocks, it's your hands. Breathing here in Supta Baddha Konasana, or reclined goddess pose. Your heels can be as close to your body or as far away as is comfortable. See if you can release in your tailbone and your lower back. You can take your hands on the outer edges of your thighs and gently press your legs back together. You can hug your knees into your chest again. If you'd like to take a gentle inversion, you can. If you'd like to come to happy baby, you're more than welcome to, or you can relax down into Shavasana. If you'd like to take a last minute pose, I will tell you when you can move into Shavasana. You won't miss your rest. You can relax wherever you are and head into your final resting pose.
And start to bring your awareness back to your breath. You can introduce small movements in your fingers and toes. And when you're ready, you can roll onto one side using your arm as a pillow. And take one deep breath in the fetal position. When you're ready, you can use that same slow quality of movement and come up to a comfortable seat. We'll close with one Om. You can bring your hands to heart center. Inhaling for Om. Loka, Samasta, Sukhino, Bhavantu. May all beings be free from suffering. Namaste.